Hello everyone, I'm all about Sonic the Telltale Game, realism and everything Telltale Games, Transformers, and more. For today's review, we're looking at Transformers Robots in Disguise Combiner Force Episode 12, The Golden Knight. Now, I think we've all pretty much seen this coming, with like the past 5 episodes of Combiner Force being like outstanding and overall like exceptional episodes. It's come down now to the time where we finally have a more like filler, like sort of bland episode. So this episode, I mean, it's not terribly bad, but it doesn't really bring anything interesting to it. It's mostly this episode is purely filler, and maybe just like to give Fix-It his own episode. I mean, while it is nice to see Fix-It get his own episode, it just felt like filler for the most part. So we're going to go over everything this episode did right and what it did wrong. So to start with, this episode, it focuses mostly on Bumblebee and Fix-It. So apparently, Fix-It it starts the episode off with Fix-It picking up on Decepticon activity in an island off the coast of London. Bumblebee goes to check it out, but then Fix-It, who's currently obsessing over like medieval like mythology and stuff like that, wishes to accompany Bumblebee, and so he ends up taking Strong Arms Decepticon Hunter so he can be like a little knight and all that. As soon as Bumblebee and Fix-It get out, they're discovered by 2 LARPers or like medieval reenactors on the island. At which point, Fix-It manages to cover for the 2 of them by calling Bumblebee the Golden Knight, and like how he's just wearing a giant suit of armor, and how Fix-It is, and it's really funny because the reenactors assume that Fix-It is his squire because of how short he is and all that, which sorts of like makes Fix-It feel sort of irrelevant throughout this episode. However, shortly afterward, they run into Decepticon Flamesword, who really seems like a reskin of if you remember Crazy Bolt from the Starscream episode from season 2 with from the Suspended. This he basically is a reskin of Flamesword is basically a reskin of Crazy Bolt in that he's a very old bot, and so apparently he actually has like an illusion that the war for Cybertron is still going on, and that his current like directive is to prepare to protect the island until Megatron and his forces get there. So we do have some pretty cool fights this episode. We see the fights with Bumblebee and Flamesword are really awesome. Especially like anything like the visual effects in Robots in Disguise look really good. Like I said, how Worthy looked awesome with the fire in the background while Bumblebee fought Starscream and like his team like Rough Edge and Shadelock. The fire in this, when Bumblebee fights and Fix-It fights the same sword, is really, really good. Eventually, this leads on to Bumblebee and Fix-It trying to stop Flamesword from activating like a drill that will destroy the Earth's core, and like it's nice to see. I do appreciate that Fix-It takes a more leadership role in this episode, in which like it's more about Bumblebee teaching Fix-It to believe in himself and show that he can still be a hero even though others think he's just a sidekick. And so we do have this moment where this pretty awesome moment where Bumblebee and Fix-It are stuck in this giant room. It's kind of like the reactor core of the Death Star, if you remember from Star Wars Episode 4. And so Fix-It ends up calculating that they have to like go around this ring at like a certain speed and then jump off it to get to a platform where Flamesword's at. I feel like that was a great way of showing off how like useful Fix-It can be, especially also when Fix-It ends up single-handedly stopping the drill while Bumblebee holds off Flamesword, which I thought was really good. Another Protos episode comes at the very end of this episode when after Bumblebee and Fix-It defeats Flamesword and put him in stasis, we actually finally get our first look, and proper look, I should say, as Motormaster this season. At the very end of this episode, Wildbreak, Heatseeker, and the rest of the Stunticons are all coming back from after the events of episode 10, Disordered Personalities, and they end up running into none other than Motormaster, who I gotta say, the more looking at him, he kind of seems like a reskin of what Starscream looked like. He has the same head as Starscream, only his face is purple instead of gray like Starscream's. His eyes are red. He just to me seems like a gray and purple Starscream, who looks slightly bulkier. Once again, Travis Willingham voices Motormaster, who I gotta say is a really perfect voice I'm seeing as he voices other like British characters such as Harvey and Batman, a Telltale series, and Knuckles and Sonic the Hedgehog. I really am digging Motormaster's I guess you could say that Motormaster's appearance does kind of fit the Robots in Disguise scheme, but I wish it was less of a reskin of Starscream. So basically, it's all about how like Dragstep is complaining about he wants the new Meteor Sun concept, but Motormaster just puts him in his place. And so it's all about how Motormaster is finally going to start making big moves, which teases some of the future episodes that are later to come. Now we're going to get to the cons of this episode, which is really, like I said, the whole, this episode just in total seems like real filler, like, especially with Fix-It. Now, I said this is a really good Fix-It episode, in the fact that he gets a lot of development, that is true, but to me, his whole plot about being, like, believing himself and, like, showing that he can be as, like, even though he's small, he can still, like, act like a hero, that was, like, this has been referenced several times before in other episodes, especially in Season 1 with, Episode 4, More Than Meets the Eye, and, Episode 10, I think, no, not Episode 10, it was, an episode where he and Grimlock go to fight, Ground Pounder in the Demolition Derby. Both these episodes revolved around Fix-It wanting to be a hero, and to me, it just seems like they're rehashing the same lesson for Fix-It over and over again, and it's just getting kind of stale at this point. Also, another con, I'd say, is the whole B plot in this episode, which is basically about Grimlock taking up in a sort of, like, hobby with making arts, like making trash sculptures. And while it is, like, a funny little, like, cutaway while, occasionally while Bumblebee and Fix-It are fighting Flamesword, it just seems, like, really pointless, and, like, was just used to pad down the screen time for this episode, and was overall just, like, really a waste of time, in my opinion. And so that's gonna be for my review of Transformers Robots in the Skies Combiner Force Episode 12, The Golden Knight. If I had to rate this episode, I would probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. The fights with Flamesword, Bumblebee, and Fix-It were really good. The whole lesson with Fix-It was good, but it's just the problem was that it wasn't needed, and the B-plot with Grimlock and his art career sucked. Also, Motormaster's design is pretty meh, and even though we do finally see him and show how he's going to be taking a bigger role in the future episodes, so that's pretty good. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back soon with episode 13, The Fastest Spot Alive. If you like this review, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.